That's going to take a long time. And it's going to be messy. Okay, so far I've knocked quite a bit of rubble out. You can see what a mess it's making. And I've only done that little section. I tried a chisel and hammer. That didn't work. So the best tools I've found, if you don't have a drill or something like that, is one of these, a mallet, and then you use a crowbar and you can pry the bricks out one by one. So here is the wooden framing of the old fireplace, and the over there is the 81 inches. So from here all the way here has to be non-combustible. So obviously all this wooden framing has to go. We've discovered a problem. As always, there's sometimes a bit of a problem. The chase narrows here, okay, and behind here is the outside wall. So it comes in here and then goes up. Now the new Apex 42 is going to be from here to here, and there needs to be an 81-inch clearance of nothing above it, which is there. That's the 81 mark, and you can see it going across. So it's fine here. I can take this wood out, but obviously that is going to be in the way of the clearance, and it's not going to get clearance. Now I was concerned that maybe taking away this wood, there's going to be some serious foundation support from above, and it is supporting above, but the support, I had an architect friend in yesterday, and he said that provided I can give it some support, maybe by doing a temporary diagonal down here, and supporting it up there, I can then take this out quite happily. So once I've taken all this framing out, then I can start looking at this wall. And I'm going to have to build out the chase to about this level and then slant the roof behind it this way. That way the chase is still angled, but it's expanded above the 81-inch line. That is a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. I think that if you had some contractors in, they'd probably want an extra £5 for that or something. But to be honest, it's something that with more experience I would have foreseen. Obviously I'll foresee it now. I've managed to pry the fireplace with the crowbar. Really, the crowbar is the only thing. Also what I did was I removed the gas and the bricks, and made sure I turned the gas off in the mains. I did want to take the gas out before pulling the fireplace out, but I found that the only way to get the gas capped, so I'm going to try and get this cap, or this cap, I'm not sure which one, probably this one, and I'm going to cap the gas and using yellow tape as well. But I couldn't really twist these things while that was still, while this thing, if you can just see down here, was still there. So I had to start removing this beast. So the first thing I did was I started cutting these. You see, I used some snips and cut those. Then the collar came off, which was good. And then really, as I dragged this out with a crowbar, this stuff basically started falling apart. And now I'm trying to crowbar this out. You see, I think it's still a bit connected, but I'm just going to give it some welly, and then that'll come loose. And then this will probably come out. I have no idea where I'm going to put it. I might saw it, rip it up, because it's quite heavy. But it's not heavy. Taking the bricks out was very good. Those bricks are really heavy, and if I could take those bricks out, bricks at the bottom, that would be really useful. Actually, I'm going to see what else I can take off. The idea would be, I'm going to be using, I've got a couple of these. I figured if I put a couple of those there and then lay it on that, I reckon I could just wheel it out the front door. I'm about to put this fireplace on this platform here. What I did was I nailed, I've got 2 dollies, and I've nailed a piece of MDF on them, so hopefully nothing's going to move around. So that's quite solid. It's a bit narrow, but I think it'll take it. Pretty well. So this is the situation behind. I've got to start building up this wall and remove some of these bricks. You see, I've already removed the bricks on the top, and if you can see, if I scroll in, you can see a line just there. That's going to be the roof line of the new fireplace. So I've got to remove the bricks on the side here up to that line. Which is about there. The roof line is going to come across, and this is going to be removed as well. So it'll just be straight. And so I've got a little bit more to do now. So it's just one of those things.
Partirla en dos. Ahí sale ya. Falta como 2 pulgadas.
Don't worry, this is for YouTube.
Entonces me pasas el ¿qué? El espíritu.
If you can keep forming one piece, that'll be so I think they're the same size.
There it is. Vamos a hacer cortes. ¿Eh? No, para que me dejes de poner fibrolencia. Ok. ¿O quieres que te ayude ya? ¿Eh?
Okay, now you can see we've built the new diameter of the chase. You can see just to get the extra space that it requires for the chimney. So there we go. Coming along pretty well. We've just got to remove a few bricks more down here because we need to be able to see all the old felt to join it up. The builder's felt unfortunately got ripped off when we took these bricks off, so we just have to remove these bricks and then that'll be fine. You can see around here that we've been trying to tooth this over here so that the bricks will eventually carry on and be like this. So you can see going up, and that's the chimney up there. Okay, now we've got the Tyvek up, which you have to do for the weatherproofing prior to putting up the bricks. Just one thing to note: when you're putting it up, you have to make sure that it overlaps from the top and not the bottom, because otherwise it's got a chance of rain getting in or moisture. Another thing I had to do, as you notice, I probably had to take a few more bricks because the old paper needs to be overlapped as well and stapled, and I didn't want to take any more bricks out here, so what I did was I used 45 it's called. So I've done that. So I've just got to basically just rebuild a new eave for the chase. As you can see over here, I've got a bit of woodwork to do as well. So now the electrics are going to come in. The 42 Apex requires electricity to go to the green start and also the fan that's going to blow out the hot air. I've taken the electricity from here, which goes underneath the floor or in the crawl space underneath the house. What we now need to do is to get power to the control unit, which is going to be on the wall also. So I was trying to figure out where are we going to have this thing. Looking around a room, best place was here, because this is where we're going to be sitting. It's also in line with the fireplace. So today what I'm going to do is put another hole in. Unfortunately, the drill bit doesn't go through. You have to do two drill bits, two holes, because the biggest drill bit will only fit one of these wires, one that I have anyway. Drill another hole down here. Get this wire into the crawl space, and then I'm going to create an area here, somewhere about there, and the wire's going to come there and it's going to be just sticking out. I went underneath the crawl space, which wasn't a very nice experience. It's only about 2 feet high and lots and lots of mud. Anyway, so the wire with the black lines is the power coming in, and it comes from over there, and then the black lined wire is the power, is the line that's going to the controller, which is going to go over here. So I've got that ready, and it goes back underneath the floorboards, which was I checked the lines, they all seem to be worked quite well. Now what I've got to do is just finish off the framing. Now that all the framing has come up, it's going to be very good to insulate the whole chase. Certainly the bit up to the ceiling, just over the ceiling I don't need to, because it's attic space, so that'll be considered okay. I'm going to be using Rolux Comfort Bat 15, has an R15 value. It's the highest you can get if you've got 2x4s like I've got here, and you should probably always use Rolux, because it is effectively made of made of stone material, so it's going to be almost impossible to set a light. So it can withstand, I think, up to 2000 degrees or something. So that's really what you're going to be wanting to do inside a fireplace. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised, I haven't checked, but I think code probably requires that you use that. Certainly don't use any standard insulation. It's got to be, I think what you call it is rock wool. The framing is quite robust for a very good reason. I mean, I've got lots of reinforcement here. Really, this rock is going to weigh, when it's all up, it's going to weigh several tons. So, or certainly at least two or 3 tons. So it needed to be very, very robust. I put these inlays in because obviously this frame has got to attach to the frame behind. So I've put a 2x4 flat, so it's got plenty of area where you can make the drill holes, and then you've got the 2x4s nailed and screwed. So now you can see I'm putting in the R15, the Rolux. It started going, it's going in quite nicely. Just got to make sure I don't squeeze it in, and at the same time you can't leave any gaps, so it has to be pretty exact, which is annoying. But fortunately I've been able to cut it quite well. One easy way of cutting is to get yourself one of these Black & Decker carving knives, an automatic carving knife. You can see it cuts pretty easily. You see, that's not bad. So I've been doing it like that. That takes a lot of work out of it. It's only about $16 on Amazon, and I think I'll use it for a roast afterwards.
Put on floor, huh? Huh? Put on floor right here, huh? Don't just hold it right there, Danny. Roll the pipe. First.
Oh yeah, the pipe has to go the other end. Yeah.
I'll run the pipe. I gotta take the. Okay. Take that pallet over. What do I have to go on the bottom of that?
So the Apex 42 has just arrived, and it's not installed, and there's a good reason for that. Problem is that here the chase is offset, and so I made sure that we had one of these bends here, and there is another one that then goes straight. The problem is that there should have been 18 inches of pipe in between the two, so it doesn't offset enough, so we couldn't install it. We've ordered the 18-inch bit again, and hopefully it'll arrive. One of those things. Another thing is that I measured this. Well, I measured it from the instructions, assuming it was 20 feet, and that will allow it to go from here across the room, underneath the floor, and up to there. Not very much to spare. Yeah, in fact, at 20 feet, it would probably only come out here, but that's enough. Unfortunately, it's 18 feet long, or about 17 and 3/4, which means that even at a stretch, it would actually stop here. I rang up Travis Industries to see if they could do it, but unfortunately they can't be extended, so I am going to have to move that to here.
Where's it coming from?
It's coming from there. It's up
Are
there.
you able to put a bucket here?
No, I can't. I can't unscrew anything.
No, but just to put a bucket, is it?
There's nothing I can do because
What about towels and stuff?
I could do towels, I guess.
Okay, so now the G-Rock is going up, and I've also built the shelf. You can see that I made the shelf out of metal, which are basically metal studs, steel studs. You can see, if I go underneath, you can see how they've been put together, and they just basically make it. And to be honest, this is really solid. Okay, so here I am casting the concrete. I've just started pouring it in. There's only me, so I can only just carry on really. So I can't really show you how I'm doing it. But this is the first coat. Okay, yeah. Now this is going to be the fun bit, trying to get those corners up the side. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm trying to drag it up the sides slowly while it's drying. it's not doing it very easily. It would have been much better, obviously, to use a hopper and a spray, you know, to sort of spray the first coat on, because then I would have got an even coat, but I'm afraid this is all I've got, so I have to do this.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading